Hello, welcome to yoga class. My name is Lindsay McDougall, and today we're going to work into some twists and start with stabilizing the pelvis and getting into the low back. So for props today, I would say block and blanket are optional, and we'll start seated, moving onto our backs, okay? So bending the knees and just coming onto the back here. Just let the knees come in a bit and then take the arms, bending at the elbows, and bring the fingertips around to the shoulder blades to pull the shoulder blades apart. So this will just help to wake up the body and relax and start to remind as we take our inhales and deepen the breath here. It's time for yoga. Just let the elbows kind of fall and the back of the head be long. Pulling apart the shoulder blades. And let's switch sides. So bring the other arm in front. Fingertips around the shoulder blades and then pull the shoulder blades apart. Opening up the chest and letting the elbows drop. Good. Really feeling that sacrum grounding, back of the head. Good. And then I'm doing the arms. We'll move through some hip openers. So let's take the right knee in. Keep the left leg bent. And as we take the knee in, pull it straight in, and then just let it come out to the right side slightly so that you can feel just a little more ease in that right hip. Pulling the knee in. Good. And then lengthen that right leg. Take the hands into a clasp behind the hamstring, just at the base of the leg. So as you extend the right leg long, you're going to be taking that clasp and then lengthen up the left leg. Don't let it come to the ground yet, but lengthen it out. Pull in on the abdomen. Turn the left toe in a little, so there's that internal rotation of the left leg. And then press the right top of the thigh away. So really lengthening the hips away, low back is long. And then suck the left thigh into the body. Then you can place that left heel down and continue to work with this right hip away, left thigh sucking in, and heels away. So even as the crown of the head is reaching away, so are the heels. Good. And then exhale, lower the right leg, and come back to bent knees. Good, and then lift the left knee into the armpit, keeping the right knee bent, and just pull it straight back, and then out to the left slightly, so that that left hip flexor can really open. See if you can get a little longer in the hamstring. And then exhaling, make a clasp behind the hamstring, reach the left heel to the ceiling, and then press the top of the thigh away. So you're going to start to engage the clasp. And then lengthen the right leg, keep it lifted, heels away now. Internally rotate so that the outer heel is parallel. and you're creating that inner rotation, going up through the lower abdomen, lengthening the low back to the crown. And then heels away, suck the right thigh in, left thigh away. Drop the right heel. See if you can really breathe into that abdomen, lengthen the low back. So as we're moving into our twist today, we want to notice how opening the pelvis can help to lengthen the low back, stabilizing our twists. Good. And then bring the right, undo the hands, reach the hands behind your head, and then lift the right heel. So lengthen the arms away, thumbs facing down, and then using that abdomen to pull the inner thighs in and ground the low back. And then switch. Right leg up, left leg long. Deep support in the abdomen to the lumbar, heels away, tops of the thighs away, but also the lengthened one is pulling into the abdomen. Do that one more time, switch. Notice with the arms, we're creating more dynamic in the abdomen. And switch. Left leg down, right leg up, heels away. Good, and exhale, bend the knees, give the knees a hug, rock side to side, and eventually we'll come over to one side, gently coming up, and make your way into down dog. So finding your down dog here, lifting the hips. You can make little micro movements in the fingers and toes, swaying side to side, lifting the heels, front of the body, back towards the back of the room. Good. And then inhale, let's come into plank. And then try our first twist. So we're going to keep our arms and upper body in plank pose, and then only pivot onto the outer edge of the right foot. Heels are stacked, but keep that left shoulder down, right shoulder lifted, and really saying hello to the obliques here, which are the muscles that attach from the lower ribs to the ilium, the pelvis. Pelvic crest. Good, and then coming back to center plank. Still stationed center, and then just drop the left heel down, heels are stacked, saying hello to the left oblique. Tucking the tail, lengthen the side waist. Good. Exhaling, back to plank, and then down dog. Reaching the arms away, hips back. Inhale, reach the right leg back. Exhale, sweep it forward to the right wrist, looking up. And then before we make our way to the top of our mat, lift the left thigh back, right heel pulls into the midline, right hip pulls into the midline, and then keeping the tail tucked, lift the arms, low lunge here, arms by the ears. Take a couple breaths here. Again, remembering to suction the left thigh in, right hip under. breathe space into the abdomen as you lengthen. Good. Hands down, left leg comes up. Reach Ardha Uttanasana. Halfway pose. And exhale, fold. And take a generous knee bend here, kind of sway side to side. Stretching out the glutes, hamstrings, upper back. Straightening one leg and then the other. And then taking hands to hips. Knee bend, come all the way up. Tuck the tail. Inhale, palms up to touch, look between the palms. And exhale down, palms face forward. Roll the shoulders back, lift the chest, ground through the heels. Mountain pose. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway, lengthen. Exhale, sweep the right leg back, left leg back, plank. Come into our vinyasa, so knees, chest, chin, chaturanga. Take a little baby cobra or high cobra here. And exhale, move back to down dog. Inhale, lift the left leg. Sweep it forward to the left wrist. Right hip suctions back. Heel away. Inhale, tuck the tail. Ground into the back heel. And then sweep the arms up by the ears. Long low lunge here. Open up the low back. Left hip moves under and back towards the back heel. So you can reach it longer from the left waist. And hands down, right leg comes up. Halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale down. Arms by your side. Open palms face forward. Sweeping up. Sri Namaskar A. Exhale. Forward fold. Tuck the chin. Inhale, nice long back. Shoulders back. Place the hands. Left foot comes back. Right comes back into plank. Take a vinyasa here. Back bend, lift the heart. And exhale, downward facing dog. So find your dog here. Reach the side and front ribs towards the hips. As you let the head be soft. Inhale, lift the right leg back. Sweep it forward to the right wrist. And then keeping the left hand grounded, pull the left hip up and then open the right arm in as you drag the palm across the chest. Open the arm and just open that pectoral area. So low twisted lunge here. And you can let that left hip drop just to find some ease in the low back. And then look up at the right thumb. And feel how this feels as you reach the crown away. Make this more of a chest opener. And then exhale. Vinyasa here. Right leg back. Coming forward, elbows in. Upward facing dog and downward facing Inhale, lift the left leg. Sweep it forward to the left wrist. Keep the right hand grounded. Lift the right hip to really pull the right heel back. And then the left hand is going to open up, palm grazes the front of the chest as it reaches towards the ceiling. And then look up at that thumb, but also really feel the pectoral opening. The chest open. And I tend to notice my left knee comes out, so pull that left knee in. And you can let the right hip drop if that helps you to get into this twist a little deeper. Good. Breathing into the low abdomen. And then exhale. Left arm down. Take a vinyasa here. Upward facing dog. Roll the shoulder heads back. And downward facing dog. Look forward. Bend the knees. Walk or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands on hips or wide arms. Come all the way up. Reach hands to touch at the top. Look between your hands. And exhale, Samasthiti. Let's come into a chair pose, so bring the toes and knees together. Sweep the arms underneath you as you sit back into your chair. And bring the weight into the heels, as if you're reaching for a chair behind you, but then there's a strong lift and reach, low ribs in, look between the palms. Good. Bring the palms to heart center. And then we're going to bring the left elbow outside the right knee. So, twisting over to the right, notice that the left knee wants to come in front. And just gently coax it back, but don't prohibit it too much. Just finding an area where you can free up the waist, left hip back, right hip. You really just want evenness in the pelvis as much as possible, with room for improvement, breath, space. And then from here, sit a little more deeply, press into the right heel, and then left heel reaches a step back into a twisted low lunge here. So reach that left heel back, left thigh suctions into the waist, reach the crown away, and then scoop the left foot back to chair. Open up the arms, bring the left hand to a block or to the floor. So the tricep is still outside the right knee. And then exhale, come into chair, look forward, look up, and straighten the legs, reach. Hands to touch. And come into our mountain pose. Good. So already I'm starting to feel my chest lift, my shoulders rolling back. Squeeze the thighs, ground into the heels, tuck the tail, and just lift through the breath, through the diaphragm. Let's come into our chair again. Heels back, sits bones back. Reach the lower body back, upper body coming forward. So if you can get a little lower in your chair, looking between your hands. And don't let your arms be heavy. Really plug the shoulders into the sockets and lift from the heart space. Hands to heart center. Twist over to the left, elbow hooks outside the left knee. I'm noticing my right knee wants to escape and come forward. So I'm going to just gently pull that right knee back and in. Just imagine both crests of my pelvis are moving back and even. Try, if you can, to bring the thumbs to the chest and free up the waist for more breath as you look towards the sky. Good, sit back, weight into the left heel, take a big step with the right foot into a low twisted lunge. We'll be here for a moment, suck the right thigh up and back, lengthen the crown, twist a little deeper, and then pull that right leg back again, open up the arms, chair pose with a twist. And we'll make our way back to Uttanasana. So place both hands down, wiggle out yes and no the head, and let's bring peace fingers to the toes. So a nice long stretch here. So grounding into the heels, lift, lengthen the chest, sit bones back, and then exhale, elbows wide, shoulders up the back. If you want a little more challenge, you can bring the palms underneath the feet. And again, elbows are coming bent, shoulders moving up the back. And then really hiking the hamstrings and the sit bones up to the ceiling. As you bring your head towards your legs. Good. And then inhale, let's look up halfway. Exhale, bring that right leg back. Drop the knee, and let's come up to a high crescent, hands on the hips. You can keep that, when I say high, I mean a crescent shape. You can keep the right knee down. And then just sink into that front thigh so that we can stretch out the right thigh. If you want to keep your hands on your hips or to the floor, and feel like a nice counter pose here. Good. Last breath. And exhale. Take a vinyasa. Coming into down dog. Inhale, lift the left leg back. Sweep it forward to the left wrist. Right leg comes up. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, forward fold over the legs. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Look up between the palms to touch. And exhale, let's sweep that down again. Folding forward. Emptying the mind. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, place the hands. The left leg takes a reach back. Drop the knee. You can keep your hands here or to your hips to center. Drop the pelvis. Lift the left thigh up. Get that left thigh stretch. And then sink into the right heel. So I'm going to drop my hands because that feels a nice sort of counter stretch from all the chairs that we did. Good. And then let's take a vinyasa here. Lift the hips, both hands down. Right hand comes, right leg goes back, plank, Varanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Flip the left leg back, coming forward to the left wrist, and then the right heel comes into, we're going to make our way into pyramid. So keep, open up the right foot. You don't have to have heels aligned here. So each leg is in its own track. And then instead of doing namaste arms, we're going to take a variation. So lifting the chest, block the hands out. You can always have two blocks in front of you. Can be nice. Or just fingertips in front of the left toes. And then as you exhale, fold over that front leg. Maybe walk the back leg back a foot if that helps you get more into the hamstrings if you're more flexible. And then from this pose, I want you to lift the kneecaps and engage the left quad, as well as lift through the calf and the hamstring muscles. So a way to do this is to lift the left heel just a few inches. So you really feel that calf engage, that quad, or that hamstring engage. And then place the heel down, but don't lose that strength and that tenuousness. Right heel is back, internal rotation of the legs. Getting nice and long in the front body. And then inhale, let's come up halfway. And then you can have a block if you like. We're going to twist into a triangle. So right hand comes outside of left foot. Left arm comes up. And then gently guide the left abdomen towards the sky, right abdomen towards the inner thigh. Roll the shoulders down the back, hips back, heels back, quads back, and twist. So simple. Let's see if we can calm the mind here. Just let our body be with where it is. Can I bring some softness into the jaw and neck? Let's take one last big breath. And exhale. Hands down. Drop the right knee. Look up. Sink the hips. Again, a low lunge here, lunar lunge. Reach the heart. And exhale. Take a vinyasa or simply come back into dog. And once you find your way into dog, inhale the right leg back. Sink it forward to the right wrist. Left foot comes in a little bit. And then space the heels out so it's a little more like hips width. And then walk the fingers forward on blocks or on the floor. Lift and lengthen the chest. Squeeze the thighs back. And then exhale, begin to fold over that right leg, keeping the quads and kneecaps lifted. Internally rotating the inner thighs. And then doing that same trick as before. Lift the right heel a couple inches so you're engaging the calf and the hamstring. Really pressing through the ball of the foot, really even on the feet. And then lower the heel as you keep that engagement and that strength. Drop the head, last breath. Get a little longer in the upper body. come up slightly. Bring the left hand outside of the right foot or onto a block. And then we'll twist this into a triangle here. You can take that right thumb to hook back, lift the kneecaps, open up the right arm. And then gently keeping that platitude in the hips and the sacrum, and using the diaphragm and the abdominal wall to twist a little more deeply. Good. Squeeze hips back, lengthen the crown, and then exhale, bring the hands to frame, drop the left knee, low crescent, look up, sink the hips. It should feel like a nice good counter twist, counter pose here. Good, and then let's take the vinyasa here. Lubricating the spine. Now let's come forward to plank and come onto our forearms. You can bring hands to a clasp and pull the abdomen in, tuck the tail, shoulder heads back, and then begin to do breath of fire. So sharp exhales like the diaphragm flapping against the back body. Really engage in that agni, that fire in the core. Heels back, keep going. Ten more. Good. Now walk the feet in, coming into dolphin pose. Let the head hang. Strong, grounded in the forearms. As you lift the hips. And pull the shoulder blades up the back. Good. Last breath. Walk the feet in a little more. Shoulder heads up and back. And then exhale, bend the knees. Make your way into child's pose. Drop the head. Seat to heels. And just let everything melt and integrate. Good. And then let's come up to seated. We'll take one last vinyasa here. Coming into plank pose. Lowering the body, elbows in, strong core. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Let's take the right leg back. And flip it forward to the right wrist, left heel down, warrior one. So space out the feet so they're a little bit wider than what you're used to as you raise the arms. And because our feet are asymmetrical, we're naturally going to be coming into a twist. So bring that right thumb onto the right hip crease and then drop that hip down a little bit more. Reach through the back heel, internally rotating, bringing some strength into that inner knee. Very safe place for the legs. Drop the tail and then twist over to the right. So I still have my right thumb at my hip crease. I'm using my breath and my diaphragm, which is the dome shape underneath my ribs, to filter through this twist and adjust my breath to what's going on in my muscles. Good. Open it out to the side, warrior two for a moment, bend that right knee, and then let's take another vinyasa. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg, sweep it forward to the left wrist, right heel down, open up the legs, sweep the arms, heel toe that back leg open, left thumb hooks at the left hip crease, pressing the left hip down, and then right outer heel rounds in, internally rotating the front of the right thigh, right arm by the ear, gently twist with your abdomen and your back muscles towards the left. Pretty cool. When our legs are in different positions, we're naturally twisting. And this is so simple, but it's working up a sweat. Good. And then exhale, take another vinyasa. Leading back in one dog. And then let's drop the knees. And here, if you want to take your optional blanket to place under your knees, we're going to come into camel, just like we did last week. So I have sensitive knees from being an athlete all my life, so I'm going to bring that cushioning. And if you want to take your camel into a deeper place, I would keep the feet, tops of the feet flat, opening up the toes, letting the pinky toe move towards the earth. You want to tuck the toes under for a little more height so you can reach by all means. Okay, so tucking the tail, thighs are engaged, lifting up into the pelvis. Glutes are soft. Let's take our hands behind our hips into our jean pockets, elbows in, and lift up the chest. Crown reaches from the heart, from the center of the heart, the back, and then we'll lower ourselves down, reaching towards our heels. Okay, breathing, lifting the low ribs away, armpits down, and then gently coming up and resting back on our heels. We're going to take this 2 more times. So taking mini breaks in between, as this is a pretty intense pose. Finding our breath, closing the eyes. Find something we're grateful for. Good. And then your next inhale, lift the hips. Take this to the next level, whatever that is for you. So we'll inhale, tuck the tail, lift the chest, and then lead with the back of the head, lowering the upper body. So the more you tuck your tail, the more you engage your quads, the safer your back. Reach down, find those heels, one heel or both, Try and get both. And then press the hips forward. Open up the heart. The trick is to really bring that weight into the back of the heart and not let the shoulders and the back of the head become weights. And then from there, pressing the hips forward. And then exhale. And lower the hips down. Whew. Always intense, no matter how many times you do it. Breathe here. Good. Let's take this one last time. Lift the hips. And find the version that you feel will make you comfortable and free. In this heart opener. Inhale. Hands behind jeans pockets, elbows in. Lift. Again, bring all that energy down into the glutes and quads. Lean back. Reach back. Ustrasana. Lift the heart, hips forward. Breathe, wrap those low ribs front. Wrap the back body front. Reach to the crown. And then exhale. Lower down. Couple breaths here. Better than a coffee. Really energizing, right? Okay, so you can, I'm going to come onto my seat here, and we're going to move through. Actually, let's take a quick vinyasa just from that last pose before we sit down. So come into plank. Strong, lowering. I lift. And exhale, down dog. And then we can lower our legs. And come into a seated posture. So, come into Sukhasana, easy pose, cross legs. And then we're going to do sort of an Ardha Padmasana, a half lotus. So keep the right knee down in your normal Sukhasana. And then take your hands and pick up the left foot. Depending on how flexible you are, the aim is to pull that foot in, bring the heel to the navel. And then you can take your foot in your left hand, right hand presses down on the right thigh to create a nice space for your foot. So from there, once you have a Ardha Padmasana, so my left knee is resting on the instep of my right leg, my right foot. Then we're going to twist over to the right, top of the hand on top of the right knee. Just open up to the right here just so we can prepare our spine for a forward fold. And then reaching the arms over that right knee, walk the hands out, and just come to relax forward fold. Now, notice the left hip wants to come up. That's fine within reason. Don't be harsh, but try to coax it down just because that's going to really help to lengthen the side waist and the breath in the low back. And if you're feeling your knee at all, press into the inner ball of the foot, the toe mound, or just bring the foot out a little bit away from the abdomen. Nothing wrong with doing double pigeon, but I thought this would be a nice nuance for an eventual lotus. So become that half open lotus. the head. Really soak up the nice stretch in the hip. Take another breath here. And then inhale, coming up. It's interesting slowing down, allowing the body to slow down in these last postures, kind of how the brain wants to keep going, but now we're asking it to be a little slower, a little more mindful. So you can keep your foot again in this Ardha Padmasana, or if you wanted to stack knees and ankles in double pigeon, that's fine too. Let's move forward, walking the hands out in front into the middle. Again, don't feel your knees at all. If you do feel your knees, really press through the inner toe mound, the ball of the foot. I really like the half Padmasana because it creates a little bolster in my abdomen, which can be nice to open the breath and sort of detox the viscera some. See if you can fold a little deeper, let the head become a little heavier. Breathe into the back body. And calm the mind, slow the thoughts down. And take a last breath here. And then walking the hands back up. And then undo the legs. Let's bring the legs out straight, heels in front. And just feel in our staff pose. Hands on either side of the hip, lift the chest. Straighten the legs, lift the quads. So be as strong as a staff, wrapping the back muscles back and forth, lifting the head. And exhale, relax the spine. Bend the left knee into Sukhasana, and then take the right heel in the right hand, and then pull the heel towards the navel. Maybe take the left hand to create a space at the top of the thigh to really tuck that foot in. Otherwise, double pigeon works. Just be sure, if one knee is feeling it or the other. Again, pressing through the ball of the foot, bringing the foot out a little closer towards the knee to stack knees. All our options. Let's twist this over to the left hand behind, right top of the hand, presses to the top of the left knee. Twist and look over your left shoulder. Preparing the spine in the navel center. And then exhale, walk the hands over that left knee, out, and drop the head between the arms. And again, that right hip's going to be reaching up, but try and scoop it down, lengthening the low back. And taking deeper breaths here. Notice how different it is on this side than it was the other side now that our body is starting to stretch out and cool down. See if we can relax the mind a little bit more. Nice long last breath. And then on your inhale, walk the hands back. And then we'll come to the center again. So if you took double pigeon on the other side, I would do that. If you want to keep the right foot in Ardha Padmasana, go ahead and walk the hands out. Coming over to our center, forward fold here. This feels a little bit more intense doing the center. See if you can roll those outer shoulders down. Widen the back body, the sacrum. Drop the head. Allow for some space in your body. Last breath. Really nice. And gently coming up. And again, let those heels come out in front, straightening out the legs. Lift the chest, kind of walk the buttocks flesh away from the sits bones. And then pull the toes back as you reach forward. If you can grab the balls of the feet with your hands, or take a towel if it's out of your reach. I want us to come into a nice forward fold. So no fancy hand work here, just hands touching toes, pull those toes back. Drop the knees, straighten as much as you can. Lengthen the chest. And then get to a place where you can almost take a couple more breaths, like holding the feet. And then we're going to release the feet once we feel in a good place to just let everything plop out. So drop my hands to either side of my legs and just drop my head. Let everything go in this forward fold. Good. And then we'll make our way onto our back. And keep your knees bent. Roll the shoulders under. And just feel the sacrum really grounding here. Let's take Happy Baby, grabbing outer edges of the feet, pulling the knees in. Pressing the tailbone down. Some nice counter pose here. And then we'll make our way to Shavasana. So when it feels comfortable, lengthening out one leg and then the other, letting it all come straight, even. Find a calm, steady breath here in your Shavasana. Staying here for 5 or so minutes, letting the body integrate the postures, letting the breath detox and clean, return. Just feeling the blood moving, listening into the heart. Relax the forehead, the cheeks, the nose and mouth, the ears and the jaw. Relax the neck, clavicle. And bring your awareness into your heart center. Just letting all the senses draw inward inside the body. Feeling so grateful. See if you can bring that awareness down into the abdomen, down the arms. Palms are face up. Into the hips, down the legs, and into the heels and the soles of the feet. Feel those 3 points from the soles of the feet, the heel bone, sacrum, and the back of the head. Find some evenness as you breathe through those bone structure. Letting anything that comes into your consciousness be washed like a wave, washing over and drawing back, crashing over and drawing back. Take a couple more minutes here, and when you're ready, gently coming up to a seated posture to give yourself some gratitude and namaste. I'm going to sign off. I welcome you to rest for a little bit longer and have a beautiful, wonderful, blessed rest of your day. Namaste. I'll see you next week.